Okay, hi everybody. I'm here with Adam Starr and we're talking recruiter enablement. Adam, welcome. Thanks for joining me today. Just give us a bit of information about you and your background. It's a little bit different to some of us in TA, so it'd be great to find out a bit more about where you've come from.
Thank you, Adam. So awesome, honor to be here. Yeah, I've had two other professional lives before coming to recruiting, specifically technical recruiting. In the last 5 years, I've been doing that. I started my career in pharmaceutical R&D in a function called clinical data management. Very data heavy, very technical, very medically technical because it's pharmaceuticals. And then, about 10 years ago, I was able to get into technology and use my transferable skills to get there. And networking, of course, that's the big buzzword. I guess it always has been, but networking, especially in today's climate. And that's where, I really fell in love with kind of the culture of technology in general, and how much different it was than the conservative culture of pharma, if anybody has worked there and knows of it. And so, yeah, and really I've been focusing on all things product, product management, product marketing, design, UX research, project and program management.
Yeah. Okay, great. So, recruiter enablement, what is it to you? Again, you've got some interesting perspectives on this. So, give us your sort of definition. What's it all about?
So I think, recruiter enablement is basically, to me, it's like all the tools, the processes, the training, all the support needed to really implement recruiting in a way that's going to be the best for you as an individual recruiter, to result in the best recruiter experience for yourself, right? And I think historically, at least it's been my experience, although I've had amazing support. I don't want to throw any shade on anybody who's supported me in the past, because amazing support, but there's a lot of self-enablement. You just really have to bootstrap yourself to figure out what kind of recruiter you want to be.
Yeah, no, I agree with this. So, recruiter experience is definitely enhancing recruiter experience is definitely a goal from recruiter enablement. And you're absolutely right. I think most recruiters have to, in your description, bootstrap themselves when they start that new job because they don't necessarily have an awful lot. So, what can be done to enhance that recruiter experience by putting tools and processes and things in place so that it's easier for people?
Yeah, I think, it comes down to things that I've seen in other organizations like software testing and product management, would be basically a talent management or talent mapping sort of exercise where you identify competencies, right? So if I'm a brand new associate recruiter or sourcer, these are the things, the minimum expectations that you would have to meet, to be successful in the role.
Yeah.
And I think largely those things go unsaid or they're assumed. And you learn those things as you learn the job. And like I said before, recruiters and leaders that I've worked for, I think have done a really good job in saying, hey, I want you to follow the style that works best for you. And I think that's great. I think that's a good baseline, but I don't think it should stop there. And I wonder if that kind of perspective makes us allergic to documentation and standardization when it comes to talent acquisition. And so I think identifying competencies is a good start, and could lead to deeper level soft skills. For example, like having difficult conversations. I've seen that quite a bit. And some recruiters listening to this might be thinking, what? I have difficult conversations all the time. Like, you do, right? It's baked into the job. I'm talking about next level stuff. Like, for example, rejecting a candidate at the end of a screening call versus just sending an email 24 hours later. Right? Huge, small little tweak, but huge change in candidate experience and what is required from a recruiter.
You're talking my language here. So, you're right. Recruiters typically are naturally, they thrive on flair and entrepreneurship and creativity and going and doing things their way.
Yeah.
And they're allergic to documentation and standardization, I think is what you just said.
Yeah.
But see that difficult conversation that you have at the end of that screening call. they don't tend to it would be better to do it then than send an email a day later, but they don't tend to do it then because they need to think about how am I going to frame this, and then they
Yeah.
might spend 10 minutes crafting that email.
Yeah.
If they had a template for candidate doesn't meet the criteria because they clearly don't have enough experience, they clearly don't have the skills, or they wouldn't fit in with the hiring manager for whatever reason it might be. That's a really biased, full of bias, that one that I just said there. But there's probably it's very unusual that a candidate is going to get rejected for something that's really specific to them, such as they've got a swastika on their forehead or something like that. In most cases, it's going to be like one of 5 reasons. Why don't we document those 5 reasons, give everybody in the team access to this so that they don't have, so that they can reject the candidate on the screening call. They don't need to delay the process for the candidate, and they don't then need to spend 10 minutes working out what is the right language to use to send to this candidate, and then typically actually never sending them the message at all because they don't have the 10 minutes to do it.
Right.
So, standardization and documentation has a big place in all of this, I believe. I just did a bit of a monologue there myself. Like, does that is what I'm saying right? Was that what you said? Is that what you said? Right.
Chef's kiss. Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. And I think in an ideal world, I'm kind of thinking in my head what I've learned from other recruiters, much, much better recruiters than I am, about, you should know your role so well that, providing very specific, feedback, well, not very specific, but, specific to that candidate in a way that's going to make sense and not lead to litigation, for example. You should be able to do that on the fly. You shouldn't have to think about it. We all have off days. We all have busy days. We all have things occupying, space in our brain. So it's not always possible. I do like the idea, especially for more junior recruiters, to have kind of almost like a contact center call sheet, right, that they can go to, right, and very quickly reference that.
Yep, totally agree. Elevator pitch written down, crib sheet written down, objection handling written down, shared with everybody in the team. They've all got access to it. Talk a little bit more about the concept of the like looking at different skills and competencies, and what's the sort of output from doing this, and what could we practically do with that?
Yeah, I think this is hopefully what you're looking for, but it's essentially a massive spreadsheet, a matrix, right? With your roles and seniority down the left, and kind of the top, like the major areas of competencies that you're looking for, and then how those competencies show up, what those expectations are based on each role. I've seen this multiple times across multiple different companies, and it's an investment that repays itself over and over again, right? Because you can use it for succession planning, you can use it for performance improvement discussions, you can use it for promotions around that. Say, hey, you need to be meeting these things before you can even be considered for a promotion.
So from a kind of recruiter enablement perspective, I, as a new person coming into like a team that you're in, I could go, right, I've been asked to hire a product manager, and it's not one that I've done before. So I'm going to go into my matrix and I'm going to go and see, right, who in the team has got expertise in this. Adam Starr's got expertise in this. Just click through, put some time in Adam's calendar, 5 minutes, ask like everything I can in 5 minutes of you about product management hiring. Would that type of thing work well?
Yeah, I think you could go farther than that, though. I think in an ideal world, every function you're working with would also have this matrix of competencies that you could just go to. It's self-service.
Yes, right.
Right. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Clearly, we could talk about this a lot longer, but we want to try and keep these all bite-sized.
Yes.
I've really enjoyed this. Hopefully, Adam, I'll
pleasure.
See you on upcoming recruiter enablement focus groups.
Without a doubt.
Where should people connect with you? LinkedIn or somewhere else? What's the best place?
Definitely LinkedIn. You can also go to my personal site for my consulting business. It's www.starpath.com. That's Starr with two
Starpath
R's.
with a double R. Yes.
That's right.
Very, very cool domain address. Well done on that.
Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
Adam, thank you very much for joining me.
Thanks, Adam. We'll see you.